I think everyone knows of the stereotype of the angry gamer, to which I usually reply jokingly, games don't make me mad, bad internet does. But as we all know, a lot of games are supposed to be challenging, and some of those challenges can be very annoying. Players don't always agree with certain mechanics in the game, and especially in a competitive online game, those mechanics functioning as intended and not being aggravating in the first place is quite important. And today, my friends, we will be counting down my personal top 5 most aggravating things in Overwatch. Just for the record, this is not me saying those things have to change. And not all of them relate exclusively to game mechanics, it's just a list I put up for the sake of it, so don't try to read too much into it. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Number 1. Getting booped off. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree when I said something that's very annoying is when you play an online game and someone beats you by doing something cheap or something you consider unskillful. Things like that often relate to snipers who just sit in the back far away from any danger, but also shotguns and explosives. Well, in Overwatch, one such thing is getting booped off. It's just so infuriating to have this feeling that you have to work really hard to get your kills with your hero, or feeling like your character requires that much more skill than theirs and then just press one lousy button and you're gone. Sadly, getting booped off more often than not is a result of poor positioning, which enemy players then take advantage of. As annoying as it is to die just because the enemies press one button, and said button not being a high damage headshot, it is something that in most cases can be avoided. Number 2. Getting hooked. Now I think most of us are familiar with Roadhog's absolutely broken hook 1.0 that defy time and space to drag you through 18 layers of thick concrete just to, in the end, one-shot you. While at the time of me making this video, the devs are hard at work with the hook 2.1 iteration, the concept of the hook itself was just very infuriating. Sure, it was like throwing salt into an open wound to get bullshit hooked, often when the enemies couldn't even see you. However, what's extremely annoying in games is getting one-shot, and it often doesn't even matter what exactly killed us. As mentioned earlier, snipers, shotguns, explosives, dying to these is always quite aggravating. Now look at Overwatch, we have a 600 health tank that can grab you from quite a far distance, and there's nothing you can do about it once it happened. It just doesn't feel fair to get killed when you had no way of reacting or fighting back, even when in the grand scheme of things, given the counter-heavy nature of the game, it might end up balanced. Number 3. Pharah. Pharah as a character is a pest to deal with, whether she's on my team or the enemy team, and that's solemnly based on her design. Now you see, Overwatch is quite a popular game that far exceeds the general shooter crowd. Not every hero necessarily requires great aim, Pharah included, and that often results in many people not having the skill set to take Pharah out, which is good aim. Unlike someone like Winston, where you can just pick up a Reaper to blow him up, or a Widowmaker where you just pick Winston to chase her down, Pharah's only counter is good aim. Again, not something that's very common in Overwatch. Especially for those playing tanks and supports, it's infuriating to have this flying rat lay down tons of damage on your team without having your DPS players be able to do anything about her. It just seems odd to have a character that requires very little skill to be annoying with, but needing someone with high mechanical skill to take her down. Thankfully, this changes rapidly upon hitting a high elo, where players are often pretty confident shots and Pharah sees far less playtime as a result. The introduction of Ana also helped greatly for infuriated support players to finally have a reliable way of taking her out. What becomes more annoying at this point is having a Pharah on your own team who refuses to swap when countered and possibly even feeding into support ultimates by damaging enemies without confirming any kills. No matter how I look at it, I just can't find any liking in Pharah. Number 4. Trolls. You know, not everyone is a competitive player, but they still want to play the game as it was intended in quick play, which is usually in a 2-2-2 comp that features all the necessary roles to form a well-balanced team. But then of course you have that one guy who just needs to play Hanzo all day, every day, and usually ends up getting a total of 3 kills by the end of the match. But I mean, hey, those people also paid for their games, so who are we to tell them which hero they should play, even when said hero was anything but useful for a lot of given situations. What is more annoying is getting trolls in competitive play. More often than not, this is not simply a case of someone really wanting to play a specific hero, but those people just being plain and simply sad assholes. And I'm not talking about people playing off-meta heroes in general, but those who say, "Fuck you, team," and then play Symmetra to place a teleporter near an edge to have you walk off it should you dare to use it. But also the kinds of people who behave like children and pick heroes that obviously are not useful for their team's comp only because one of their teammates dared suggest them to swap when seeing that they just get killed over and over again without doing anything worthwhile. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if quick play or ranked, getting people who just troll for the sake of being assholes are always annoying to deal with. And number 5, that one match. I think a lot of us were in this position where we grind ranked for a long time trying to rank up in the next division, and then finally, when you're almost there, just one victory away from this shiny new badge, you lose. Obviously, being determined, we decide to make up for it and try even harder the next match, and lose again, and again, and again, until we're so far off the next division that we might as well not have played at all the past 2 weeks. The problem in situations like that is often that the first loss that started all of this already aggravates us so much that we can't even think clear anymore. We were so tense during that match because of how badly we wanted to rank up that it's very well possible we did not play as well as we could have. And every single loss adds to that. The more we lose, the angrier we get, the worse we play, and well, the more we lose again. I would strongly suggest to take a break when you were just one victory away from ranking up and then lose, because let's be honest, it's not like we're getting any better the longer we play into the evening, and getting angry doesn't help us either. So it is usually better to take a break and come back the next day with a fresh start and a clear state of mind. And this wraps up my personal top 5 most aggravating things in Overwatch. Obviously, I could have mentioned many more things. Lag in particular is something that really aggravates me, especially if Overwatch is acting up while other games and applications aren't. But I did not think that adding this was quite fair, as the servers are often targets of DDoS attacks, so it really could have been anything. At any rate, thank you everybody so much for watching. Do feel free to drop me a like on your way out if you enjoyed the video, leave some of your most aggravating things in Overwatch on the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe if you would like to see more videos just like this one. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time.
I just got fucking right-clicked by McCree! You're sad, man. Zoning when you're the only one alive.
I'm zoning them.
Is that a pro McCree?
I'm down to 18 HP. In NA, this would be considered a pro play.